Hello, you're watching Shalom World News. I'm Donna Villa coming to you from Chicago, USA, sitting in for Katie Asco, who is off today. Here are the latest headlines from around the world. Pope Francis has once again decried the war in Ukraine. Addressing believers after the customary Angelus on Wednesday, the pontiff slammed the Russian missile strike on a shopping center in Kremenchuk that left 18 dead on Monday. The Pope prayed that God might open a path to dialogue for an end to the war in what he called, quote, dear and tormented Ukraine, end quote. He lamented that Ukraine continues to be scourged by barbaric attacks, such as the one that took place at the shopping complex. The Holy Father also appealed to the international community to come to the assistance of the Ukrainian people who are suffering. He also prayed that the war ends soon. The G7 nations have also called the missile attack in Kremenchuk a war crime. On the Solemnity of Sts Peter and Paul, Pope Francis stressed on the importance of seeking the intercession of Sts Peter and Paul to learn how to increase trust in the Lord and to be close to Him. He made this exhortation after the Wednesday Angelus as he reflected on the lives of the two saints. The Pope said for the fisherman Simon, who later became Peter, following Jesus was the beginning of a journey, and it took a long time before he completely understood that Christ is the Son of the living God. The pontiff said although believers recite the creed with faith, hard trials in life make them falter. He added that St. Peter likewise experienced this inner turmoil and required time to grow in maturity. In the U.S. state of Mississippi, Governor Tate Reeves announced on Wednesday, June 29th, that from henceforth, the month of June will be observed as Sanctity of Life Month. While making the announcement, the governor said that Mississippi must now turn to work ahead to take every step to support mothers and children through policies of compassion. He added that the state also has to ensure that each baby has a family that loves and cherishes them. The announcement comes in the wake of the U.S. Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade on June 24th while pronouncing its verdict in a case pertaining to the constitutionality of Mississippi's fetal heartbeat law. Following the ruling, Governor Reeves had issued a statement on social media terming it a joyous day. Decrying the inhumane incident in Texas, the Archbishop of San Antonio, Gustavo Garcia Siller, has urged officials, quote, not to pass the migrants' issues, end quote. Speaking to Vatican News, the prelate called for a more humane affection towards the migrants who risk their lives for a better future. On Monday, June 27, an abandoned container truck containing 46 dead migrants was found in the city. Later, the death toll rose to 51. Although their identities and countries of origin were not immediately established, authorities indicated that the victims were illegal migrants. In addition, Archbishop Gustavo Garcia Siller will preside over a Holy Eucharistic celebration at the cathedral for the souls of the victims. The service will feature a procession from the cathedral's main plaza, a special crucifix, candles, and flags honoring the survivors and the nations of those who have lost their lives. An appeals court in England has ruled that the High Court should hold another hearing to ascertain whether withdrawing life support from a severely injured 12-year-old boy is in fact in his best interest. This ruling has been hailed by the Christian Legal Center, which said that it upholds life and protects people from the slippery slope in which the legal definition of death is expanded. This London-based public engagement group has been supporting the parents of the injured boy, Archie Battersby, who was injured in April in his Essex home after taking part in an online blackout challenge. The Royal London Hospital diagnosed that he is brain dead and wants to remove life support, which was opposed by his parents, Holly Dance and Paul Battersby. They have asked the hospital authorities and courts for some more time so that clinical tests can be done to ascertain whether Archie's condition improves. Pope Francis has issued an apostolic letter addressed to the people of God, and it is all about the liturgy. In the letter entitled Desiderio, Desideravi, the Pope exhorted believers to recall the profound meaning of the Eucharistic celebration which emerged from the Council. Published on Wednesday, June 29th, the letter has 65 paragraphs that explain the results of the February 2019 plenary of the Dicastery of Divine Worship, and it also follows the motto proprio, quote, Traditiones Custodes, end quote. In the apostolic letter, he reaffirms the significance of the ecclesial communion around the rite that resulted from the liturgical reform of the Second Vatican Council. The Pope urged believers to abandon polemics, to listen to the Holy Spirit, and to be astonished at the beauty of the liturgy. The pontiff also appealed to all bishops, priests, and seminary formators to help the people of God to draw from the Holy Eucharist, which is the wellspring of Christian spirituality. The Nicaraguan government of Daniel Ortega has cracked its whip on centers operated by the Missionaries of Charity congregation founded by Saint Teresa of Calcutta. The Interior Ministry ordered the closure of 101 NGOs, including the ones run by the nuns. The request to close down the NGOs was made by Sandinista legislator Filiberto Rodriguez in a June 22 letter presented to the National Assembly. In the coming days, the text of the order is likely to be debated in the Assembly. It states that the Missionaries of Charity failed to comply with mandates of the law that regulates nonprofit organizations, norms regarding money laundering, and the financing of terrorism. The government has stated that the missionaries do not have accreditation of the Ministry for the Family to operate a nursery, home for girls, home for the elderly, and to conduct remedial education for students. Catholic bishops of the ecclesiastical province of Ibadan in Nigeria have urged the faithful to take part in special prayers and fasting on July 5th to commemorate the victims of the Pentecost Sunday massacre. At least 40 people lost their lives in the shooting that took place at the St. Francis Catholic Church in Ondo State on June 5th. Archbishop Gabriel Abegunrin of Ibadan said that the procession would be a clarion call against bribery and corruption. Separately, in an interview with the pontifical charity Aid to the Church in Need, Archbishop Matthew Manoso Dagoso of Kaduna detailed the fear and uncertainty that prevails following the murder of 2 priests. Father Vitus Borogo, who served in Kaduna Archdiocese, was murdered by armed men on June 25th. Another priest, Father Christopher Odia from Auchi Diocese, was abducted and killed on June 26th by unidentified assailants. And those are your latest headlines. Do join us tomorrow. In the meantime, you can visit swnews.org for more updates. Shalom.